Hello and welcome to the Build with Bear workshop. My name is Pat Baer, and I got a new background image for the pre-show chat. Oh, also speaking of which, I gotta put this in here. Cool. Uh, First off, Harold, thank you for hosting. I appreciate it very much. Dr. Jones is here in the chat. If you're a subscriber, you can throw the Bear Cave emote in the chat to let the people know that you're here. You can throw the Lego emote in. If you're a tier 2 or 3, you can throw the Scythe emote in. But yeah, we're waiting for see if a few more folks want to join us before we get to the building portion of the stream. Um, but yeah, I didn't really love the last image I had, the space one. I thought it was fine, but I saw this one and thought it looked real cool, and now it is on display. Lashbrook is here. Hi, Lashbrook. Um, Reminder, speaking of subscribers, if you are Harold's here, of course. If you are a subscriber that uses your Twitch coin because you have Twitch Prime, you got to manually renew that. Now is the time where some of my subscribers need to renew to keep those numbers up. Always appreciate it. But yeah, take a look, see. And of course, when you're renewing, if you do it while we're streaming, make sure you hit the notification so that we see it and we all know that you did it. We can all throw the emotes in there. Um, we're still working on our Zaku too. We've got two hands here, big old hands. We got a big old head here on its neck display, and a little, does this thing, which is fun. And then we've got a little bit of what will be part of our leg here that will attach to the waist. This is a good build, good solid build. I'm happy to do it. Excited to work on today. We still have a lot left of this kit. We got to finish, we're working on the right leg. We got to do the left leg, which will be, basically the same thing, but just doing it again. And then I'm looking ahead. After that, we're going to start working on the chest, which is really hollow. It's interesting. It's very hollow. The cockpit is pretty open inside, which is unusual for most of this kit. And then we'll do the skirt area and the waist, and then the shield, and the weapons will be after that. Pretty standard once we get to that point. It's weird to do the head and then just have the head be there for a long time while we do the rest of the joints. One of the things we'll do today is obviously leg assembly, and that eventually will involve, we should get to it, more springs. I looked ahead because I want to make sure I got the screws right on this spring, and then putting a bunch of beads on it to do basically what we do, around here. The hose is what some people like to call it, and that is also on the legs and the waist. So we'll do that eventually, or the chest area. But yeah, we'll get going in a couple minutes. As always, I like to have a few folks, trickle in before we get to building. Obviously, people join as we go. Let's see. If you're a Patreon subscriber, check your feed because I posted my monthly Q&A video, which I do just for Patreon supporters. Answered a couple questions and told the story because one of the questions inspired. Yeah. Ultron says, hi, how are you? Ultron, I'm doing great. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching the stream, as always. But yeah, we'll give it another minute or two, and then we'll get to the building. Oh, come on. I gotta say this right now. I'm gonna say this. I hope the show is great, but there is a show they have that is happening tomorrow that I am doing lights and sound for and video. And they have sent me so many emails that are unnecessary. Like, oh, we haven't uploaded this yet. We will soon. Tell me when you uploaded it. I don't need it yet. It's Saturday. I don't need it till tomorrow. Hey, we just want to think we made this change. It does not affect you at all. Then do not tell me that. Stuff like that. I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure their show is going to be great. I'm sure it will be no problem at all because I read through their script and it's not hard for me to do. But, y'all, I need them to stop emailing me. It was so many emails. And the show they're paired with, because it's a half an hour show, the show they're paired with has not contacted me yet. So it's like, I want you to stop sending me emails, and I'd like the other people to send me an email. Because I'm going to have to email them tomorrow and go, hey, what's up? What's up? Anyway, let's go to the overhead shot. That's just me complaining, getting a little complaining on while y'all are here. Got the overhead going. We got some stuff here. You can see the arms here of our Zaku 2. You can see the head unit. Some pieces that I clipped out to get going. We'll put these aside because we don't need these for a bit. We don't need these for a long time. I just like, being able to show the progress we've made because not everyone watches every stream, which I understand. Or they don't watch the full stream because it's late at night. On a Monday, not everyone can watch 9 p.m. Eastern to 11 p.m. Eastern. Or on a Friday, they may have plans. Or Thursday, I should say. I often stream, these Saturday streams I know are our least watched. Because I totally understand. People are out and doing stuff. Ultron says, I worked on my Astray green frame. I ate Wendy's after work and had a great nap. 10 out of 10. Ultron, that sounds like a rad Saturday. My Saturday was I shot a video, the Q&A video as I mentioned. I shot that. I replied to a bunch of emails. Got some work done. Tweeted some. Played some Hearthstone. Hit rank 11 in Wild, which I'm very happy about. And now I'm doing a build stream. Got groceries. I forgot I went grocery shopping, so that was good too. Yeah, I had a good time today. Got some stuff done. Happy about what I got done. Let's get some building stuff together. We need R5. Yeah, it was good. It was funny. I posted a this is a thing I'm thinking about kind of tweet. You do those now and again. Maybe you don't. I do. Where I'm like, hey, I'm putting this out into the universe because it'll condition me to keep going. Because what I tweeted was, I'm going to look up the actual tweet so that I have the actual thing that I said and I can say what I actually said, which was looking up what I said. Once I return to a life of stable income, fingers crossed soon, I've got 2019-2020 goal. Anime conventions. I'm going to pitch improvised postmortem to a couple local cons for the fall-winter seasons and see where that takes me. And then I followed that up with, I've done a comic book-themed IPM, improvised postmortem, before, and an anime version would kill at a con. I'm sure of that. I once did a very okay anime-themed improv at a Cherry Blossom Festival, and it destroyed. That improv was not great, but that audience was psyched to see improv that was anime-related. We were outside. We had lapel mics on underneath a tent platform, and everyone watching us was on beanbag chairs, sitting on the dirt on beanbags. And that crowd was just like, this is the greatest thing we've ever seen. Which years later, when I did my first PAX, I was like, oh, that's right. Non-comedy oriented audiences are very happy to have good comedy or okay comedy or decent enough comedy. So anyway, I posted that tweet today, kind of just like mainly for me to be like, hey, you want to start doing other conventions, you miss Otakon, you want to go and perform at an anime convention, put it out in the universe. And I heard from a local con that's in Atlantic City that was like, hey, we should talk. We have a convention in the fall. And I was like, yes. And then I heard from a friend who was like, hey, if you want to work at our booth at a convention, we would be into that. We have contractors. We could put you on a list of contractors. And I was like, yes, I would also be interested in that. The idea of going to a convention and really working a booth isn't the most appealing thing in the world for me, but the people who offered this to me, and I'm not going to say anything because it hasn't happened, so I'm not going to, start talking about it like it will. But the person that offered this to me, what they do at conventions, how they run their booth, I'd be like, it's not retail, it's information based. So it's a lot of like prizes and raffle and explaining things. And I know their product very well. So I could do that job incredibly well. And then, like I said, it is not a retail job, which is great. Because I'm good at retail. But also, if I didn't have to do it, that would be radical. So we're in conversation. I don't know if anything's going to happen with it, but it felt good to get like that response because on the other side of the deal in my life, as I said, once I'm stable financially, I am not currently stable financially, and that is um, terrible and demoralizing. Um, auditioning or for things I've always been okay at, and okay at the process of acting, but that's because I've had stable income for a really long time. Like 2011 is when I got the job that I, was let go of this year. And before that, I worked. I knew I had hours. It was an hourly employee, but I knew I had it, and it was consistent as much as I wanted. So I could work within the system if I needed to like make sure that I had enough money for rent. So to now not be in that position is rough. Harold wishes me continued good luck, and I appreciate that very much, Harold. Thank you. Um, it's just one of those things. Right now, I'm like, going on interviews for full time employment and it not working out is demoralizing. And then you also add into that, I am worried about my future, um, because I, as of right now, uh, don't have a job coming up. I, I don't have full time work, and I got my last severance check. I can pay my rent on May 1st. I know I definitely can do that. And then I don't know. So that's not the best position to be in. Um, and I've been very fortunate in my life that this is the first time in a very long time that I'm worried. And it's nice that, as a almost 39-year-old, to be 39 this summer, that I have had the benefits of that of security for a very long time, and I'm grateful for that. But that does not change the fact that I am worried about the future. That's all it is. I'm just like, uh, still hitting the grindstone, still trying to make it happen. And, I was never like, oh, I don't want to do that work. That's not right for me or whatever. Like, I'll work hard at a thing. Um, I don't want to waste anyone's time. I'm not going to lie and say I can do a thing I definitely can't do. I'm also very much willing to work at a thing that I'm not, like super knowledgeable about. I'm a very fast learner. I'm very good on my feet. Uh, and I rise to challenges. So it's not like I'm like, well, I can't, well, I've never done this, so I shouldn't apply for this. It's a lot of like, hey, just so you know, I would be coming in with less knowledge than some other applicants. Uh, which is just like, yeah, you know, I'm not here to lie to people, but I'm also uh, gonna say that I will be good at a thing if I think I could be good at it. Uh, I don't know. It's a weird time, but yeah. Really, as it is, like at the very least, if nothing comes of any of this stuff, I'm gonna pitch improvised postmortem anime edition for um, anime next or not anime next anime NYC, which is in November, because it's in New York, and I just probably gonna go anyway. So I should definitely at least like pitch a panel, and then like even though if I'm not super known at that convention, which is still pretty new, uh, I can get away with pitching like very good people to be on the panel and be like, hey, I've got this person and this person, they do this and this, because in exchange for a badge, you know, some people that would have a good time at that convention might be interested in going just because I asked them to. I'll be able to kind of pull it that way and pull some people in. I know we'll find something in soon. Thank you, Ultron. I appreciate that. Like my boy Jake Young from Dorkly does a lot of anime convention stuff, and in fact, I've picked his brain a little bit about conventions and where I should pitch to. But like, yeah, of course I would ask him to do it. He'd be great at Improvised Postmortem. Like, a really solid comedian. Like, he would do an incredible job with it. And then it's like, okay, well, if I booked him, and then I book a few people that are already on the con, and then I book a couple maybe not super well known people in the world of anime, but are naturally very funny or can do the work. Like, all right, well then I've got myself who would be like, I get a badge to go to an anime convention? Yeah, all right. Like, then suddenly I've got a pretty solid show and an easy show, a show I can pitch. We'll see, but I'd like to do more stuff, and I do, like I said, this all came from me just being like, I miss Otakon. I miss going to anime conventions. I had a lot of fun at anime conventions, and I have not been in a long time to a proper anime convention. I think the last one I went to was like an offshoot element of like New York Comic Con. Like they were doing a thing where they were doing like Anime Next was like part of New York Comic Con while they were building it up, because Big Apple Anime was a thing and then it changed, and I don't know. There's a lot of shit, but I'm thinking about it, yeah. Trying to pitch to more stuff. I want to do a comic-based one of Improvised Postmortem. I'm pitching to FlameCon to do a panel of that there, because I think Improvised Postmortem is a really fun show, and I've done a comic version of it already. So I've already done that. This is being really annoying. Trying to get all this lined up right. It's being frustrating. But yeah, like I said, I've already done the work to kind of like figure that part out. So I'm like, well, if I've done the work for it, and I know that comic book version works, and then I'll just get myself some really funny folk to do it, and like I think it will work out great. All right. Okay, we got it together. It took a little while to put that together. I hopefully won't make the same mistakes when we do it at the other leg, but we got that going, so that's done. And then this is going to go, oops. Oh, that bends up like that. That's kind of fun. And then it's part of the knee, I guess. So then we got a lot to build. Then of course, we have some screws to attach. We need eyes. We're going to do a lot of eye here. So I can put this away for now. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining me tonight. Appreciate it. We'll just have a nice relaxing stream here on a Saturday. I got a bunch of anime to talk to you about. Just Gas going to give you lots of terrible title suggestions for anime and comic improvs. Thank you, Ultron. Yes, I mean, I'll still do what I do for Improvised Postmortem, the video game edition. I'm still going to, like, put the tweet out with the information and say, like, hey, if you want this included, retweet, and I'll get a bunch of suggestions, and that'll hopefully incentivize people to check out the show. You know, obviously that works very well, not only to get people to tune in later or watch the stream later or the video later to see like if they got picked, but also like people this last show, a lot of fucking people retweeted. which was awesome. But yeah, I have some anime to talk about. Weird, I know, but Bible Brown, yes, Bible Brown, yes, the not definitely not Bible Black, yeah. But yeah, I got a new show that I watched. Well, so on Thursday I talked about a new show that I ooh um I didn't. I gotta check this there. Sorry about this, folks. I thought I had turned off autofocus on my overhead camera, and I didn't, and so it was autofocusing. I apologize for that. Um, yeah, there was a show that's a Friday show, and I just caught up on it, so then I watched the latest episode, so I'll talk about that. And there's another show that's a Wednesday show that I wasn't watching because I forgot about it. So that's the thing that happens a lot with me is like when the seasons are picking up and getting ready, I usually kind of like write down notes of stuff that I think will be interesting to talk about, right? Or to watch. And I'll be like, oh, these are the shows I want to watch. And then I like kind of forget about that list for a while. And then the shows come out. And I see the new releases on Crunchyroll. And sometimes I see stuff that I didn't know about. And I'm like, oh, I'll check that out. That sounds good. Or I didn't know that was coming out. What is this about? Oh, that sounds interesting. And that kind of stuff. Um, and then occasionally something just comes out and I didn't notice because it was on Netflix or Funimation or Hulu, and I missed it. And so there's a show, and we'll talk about that in the second hour, that I didn't know was happening, like that I knew about and thought it might be good to watch, and then I missed the first two episodes, so I caught up on it. It is called what is it called? It's a bad name. It's a bad translation. Wise Man's Grandchild. It's called Wise Man's Grandchild. That is a terrible English name for the show. It tells you nothing about the show other than there's a wise man and he has a grandchild. That's not great, I would say. In the grand scheme of things, that's bad. Okay, so I got a little screw here. I got to try to see what size I need for this. I'm not sure. I'll try big black here. That seems wrong. We try little black and see. Yes, this is the perfect grade Zaku 2. Charged Zaku 2 perfect grade. I know, right? This is a 1999 kit. Hello Gundam. Yes, we are working on this 1999 Charged Zaku perfect grade. I am looking for a tiny screw to see if that's the right size. It might be. I do have photos that people have taken, so I can go and look at a reference photo there. Let's see. Just looking at it for an image here. Whoops. And then I can zoom in. No, it looks like I got mostly bigger black screws. I don't see any small ones for this, so this might be a large black screw that has to go into there. But we'll see. Why not the PG Exia? Well, that is a great kit. I'm building the perfect grade, this perfect grade, because thank you for subscribing with your Twitch Prime. That's very nice. Let's throw the Bear Cave and the Lego Bear emotes into the chat, and welcome Gundam. Mr. Bob's here. Hi, Mr. Bob. So the reason I'm doing this is actually because one of my subscribers, Brown Lantern, bought this off my Amazon wish list. So it's not the small screw, which is good. It is a larger screw. So that is why we're building it. I mean, I really like this kit, and I'm excited to work on it, but that is the reason, is that one of my subscribers bought this off my wish list, and I build stuff that's bought off the wish list. Ultron's here. J-Man's here. I knew Lashbrook was here. We knew that. J-Man, happy to have you here. But yeah, I aim to please. Mr. Bob says, Pat, I finished my GOG. You know this because my dumb joke. Yes, indeed. You did send me that photo, Mr. Bob. That's a good-looking GOG. I haven't updated my wish list in a little bit. I gotta look around, see if there's anything else that's been coming out that I'm interested in building. And uh, uh, people have asked. I get asked this now and again, which I do appreciate when folks check in and want to know if I have any plans to work on any other kits, kind of like the Raspberry Pi brick case that I worked on. And the answer is like, let me know. I don't have anything right now. I mean, the papercraft kits have been in my wish list, and that's something I'll do at some point because the idea does appeal to me. But yeah, outside of the Gunpla and the occasional, and Lego, like I am up for stuff. We did the original piece. We did that wrestling belt last year. That was really fun to like come up with an idea and do the follow through. The RG Unicorn Full Armor Plan B. Real grade stuff. Yeah, we've done some real grade on the stream. I'm less thrilled with real grade than I know some of my peers. I think for me the 1/100 master grade is the sweet spot for me building wise. I've talked about this before on the stream, but just from a mechanical standpoint, from a practicality standpoint, pieces are generally bigger. Obviously, we're working with a 160 scale, so we're getting nice large pieces together, but a lot of small pieces going together to make them large. But it is occasionally working on the real grade, occasionally pretty frustrating. Nothing we can't handle, but certainly not the easiest thing in the world to do. Oh, we got an F. This is our first F. This is the first piece from F. That's interesting. We have not pulled anything from the sheet yet. Yeah, some of the real grade stuff, I wouldn't say I don't like those kits. Hello, Asmo. Welcome. I wouldn't say that I don't like real grade. I would say that that they're pretty temperamental as far as like putting them all together and having them turn out the way you'd like them to. I think they're not the ideal structure for this show. Whereas like, a lot of people talked about this, and I'm not the first one to look at it this way, but the equivalent of a real grade for the 1/100 scale, the full mechanics, that's a real sweet spot. I bought another full mechanics that I will build in the future. Which one did I pick up? I'm looking up which I bought. Oh yeah, I got the Baer, the full mechanics Baer, and I'm excited to build that. Really good colors, mostly white armor, which I like with blue. It's got wings. It's a good kit. I'm looking forward to that, and then good weapon, little blades. And I like building the skeleton. I like that idea of like completing the full skeleton and then building off of that. I think is pretty sweet. All right, so we are going to continue to build this part of the kit here. We're just looking at the various things we need to assemble, making sure we put everything in the right spot. So this goes out here, and then we need P50. Okay. All right. Put that back for a second. All right, yeah. I'm back from my usual Saturday Gloomhaven group where we took down 2 bosses by the skin of our teeth. I almost feel high. Well, Asmo, as it is 420, it's a great day to feel high, if that's your thing. But also, hell yeah, congratulations. Happy you took down 2 bosses. That's rad. It's always nice when you got those accomplishments. And hopefully you had fun along the way, and it wasn't just like a grind where you didn't feel like you were making any progress or having any fun. So hopefully you did. But that's awesome. Congratulations on defeating 2 bosses. All right, so this goes like this. Here. And then got a thing that goes in the bottom. So I'm going to build this goes here with the screw in the back, which is cool so you don't see it. So go there. Subpixel Team says Gloomhaven is good stuff. I saw that it was less than $100 on Amazon a few days ago, so I almost picked it up. Yeah, I've heard good things. That is a game that I have not played, but I have heard very good things. Yeah, I don't have a crew these days. Uh, I have a Fiasco group, a online only Fiasco group, like through Discord, that we play every couple months. Enough of us are available. It's like a group of, I don't know, like 11 or 12 of us, and then we can maybe get 4 or 5 together. But usually somebody who wants to run it just starts bothering and being like, hey, what about this date? What about that date? And then enough people show up. I've been able to do the last couple, especially because now I have great internet. Now that I have Fios, and I'm not disconnecting and being annoying, it has been a lot easier for me to play games like that. So that's been really nice. All right, so then this goes, I want to make sure that this is going to go into here, but then also into that. So we will try to thread the needle a little bit, push it in, and then make sure that we're not screwing ourselves over. We could always just do this instead. Wait. Yeah. We can just do this instead of that. I just realized that's easier. That. And then we'll clip it in. It's a good group and always a fun time. I grabbed it on sale last summer with no prospect of having a group to play and lucked into one with old college roommate. Asmo, that's the dream. When you're like, you know what? I don't have anyone to play this with, but maybe if I own it, that'll be enough. That's a lovely dream, Asmo. I'm happy for you. I'm happy you got a group to play, and I'm happy you're having fun with it. That's also an important part of it, right? Like, the group is, a group that wants together, that everyone wants to play, and then you're gelling with. It's so nice to have. I had a group, it wasn't too long ago, where we ended up having to, like, drop a guy, and that was annoying. I'm never the guy that has a problem with that shit because I've been dropped from groups because I've been busy or like they're like, hey, we want to change to this date, and I'd be like, that's never going to work for me, so I'm not going to worry about it. Y'all have fun. I'm always like been like, yeah, well, this isn't working, so let's not do it. Or personalities clash, I'm always okay with that because I'm also the person that's just like, be it like an improv group or a performance group or whatever, what have you. I've always been the person that's just like, hey, the group comes first. It's more about the group than it is about any single person. It has to be that way. Otherwise, nothing will get done. Because I also, as I may have said before, I don't have a problem being the bad guy. I did that with a copy of the Sprawl years back, thanks to FAAT, still sitting on my shelf. Yeah, I mean that does happen, right? I don't, like I said, I don't have a board game group. I have my Fiasco group, which is really fun, and I look forward to playing with them when we can get enough people together. And we do we're doing a Fiasco that is like a special defense force style group, and so that means that like it's like a mask group or like GI Joe kind of a thing, where we go on assignments, and so it explains why there are a bunch of people that don't play every time, and they'll be like, and so you get to, if you want, ask questions about what happened on a previous event that you weren't there for. You're like, so some people will reference a thing that just happened, and you could be like, I wasn't on that mission because you weren't on that mission because you weren't available, and it's worked out pretty great. And then we can have different people run it. Um, and it's been really, really fun to have that outlet because I do miss being able to consistently run any sort of RPG. Your copy of the Sprawl would look good next to my loved but unused fat signed copy of Blades in the Dark. That's a rough one. It is a rough one when you have stuff that you're just like, no, it's just never gonna see the light of day as far as playing. But then maybe it will. You know, I've also bought games at conventions, played that game at a convention, and then went home and never played it again. Uh, Ultron says, say with my Kickstarter edition of Street Masters. Never heard of Street Masters, but I like the name a lot. My copy of Build Your Own Book. I bought it the first PAX South. I played it 3 times during that weekend at PAX South. It was really fucking fun, and it's a really cool game. And I have never played it again. And it's not even a hard game. Like, you just have to go to a person's apartment where there are books. Like, that's all you need is some books. You can just bring books in a bag. It's fun when people bring their own, but you can do it with whatever. And it's really annoying that I have never been able to. I've never played it since. I brought it to parties. I literally brought it and a bunch of games to a party, and it just like a couple times where we were playing games that just never came up. All right, I think this is going to be a smaller screw. I can't tell. I'm going to look at a photo. Reference photo. So nice that there are reference photo out there. All right, so I don't see any tiny screws in this batch. It's all long screws. Okay. But yeah, I mean, that does happen. It's unfortunate that you can pick up something like that and with all the intentions of the world of playing, and then it just doesn't happen. I mean, obviously in my case I just don't have a crew right now, but even then, like, sometimes you buy a game and it's just like, whoops, I'll get that later. It just never comes up in conversation. It never hits when people are like, what should we play? And you're like, I have this thing. No? Okay. Street Masters is a mashup of Double Dragon, Street Fighter, and Mortal Kombat. It seems amazing to play, but I wouldn't know. Oh, not yet anyway. Oh, Ultron, I'm sorry to hear that. That does sound fucking rad. All right, so I knocked off a little piece that fell off here that I'm gonna get. I'll get up and get it in a second, but let's finish this part and then we'll go back to it because we don't want to put armor on this with that piece off. So, but we can build the other parts of this here. All right, so we did that. We did that. We need P46. Ultron, that does sound very fucking cool. Trying to think of the last board game I played. I played Smack Talk Showdown one night at PAX East. That was fun. And then I played Cards Against Humanity not too long ago with some friends at a bar, hanging out in the back room of a bar in like an afternoon. We were waiting for someone, and they had a bunch of cards, so we played, which was fun. I don't play that game that much these days, and so I love for it, so it was kind of nice to pop in. But yeah, and the last time I played my Fiasco game was a few months ago. Should get back into that. 7 and 8. All right. Okay. And then we'll got one other thing to put on. And we're getting ready for more stuff here. Alright, so this is going to go... Oh, that looks cool. Really, there's so much detail on this. Obviously, it's a perfect grade, right? There's a lot of detail, but it feels like we were adding so many layers of things that it'll just be never be seen on the kit unless you take it apart. Which is why it's nice to, like, build stuff on stream, because now I have video of all the components coming together, and the final product we'll be able to see when it's done and be like, oh yeah, that's that part. That's that part. Last one I played since Ultron games was Smash Up. Lots of fun with 3 or more people. I've heard of Smash Up. Never played it. Heard of it. Heard good things. Glad you had a good time with it. All right. So this goes on here. This goes on there. And then we've got this piece, which slots into here. Interesting. Okay, that's weird. All right. I'm sure I'll find out what that does soon and be like, oh, yes, this makes total sense. All right. Goes in there, goes in there. So hold on one second. I am going to go to the preview screen, and I'm going to stand up and go get what I need to get. I'll be back in 1 second because I can't reach it from my chair. You can maybe hear me in the microphone as I move a thing. Go over here. I got to be careful because it's near a light, and I don't want to knock over my lights. And I'm picking it up, and I'm coming back, and I'm moving the thing back to where it was, and I'm being careful not to knock anything over. Because it would be awful if I knocked over one of my lights during the stream. And I'm back. I'm back. There's this piece. This piece came off the back of our kit here. Because it just sits over here in the back. Wanted to fly away. Great. Oh, cool. We get to build a few boosters. That's fun. We'll start with N31 here. Put this over here. Great. Did you find the piece you lost? No. I have not been able to find it. It is somewhere in my room. It's skidded somewhere. I'll show the piece that we're talking about from Ultron. You can see here there is a chrome piece that when the arm moves, it moves along with it. And it's like a piston. There's many pistons in this kit. You can see the piston there. So I don't have the other side. So right here, there's nothing clipped into this, and so when this moves, it doesn't really move with it. And so I'm still looking for that chrome piece. It's chrome. I mean, fake chrome, but it's chrome looking, so I should be able to find it. I don't know where it slid. There's a couple other spots that I haven't been able to move because it's a bunch of shelves in the way, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna have to fucking move these shelves, huh? And that's not fun. But I will eventually get it, and it is annoying. But also, this will not be terribly hard for me to put in. I should say here. I just have to remove this, and then actually, honestly, all I have to do is take this off and then slide it in. So it should not be hard to replace, which is great. That's always nice when you have to work on something for it to not be super complicated. And 31. This one here. And so that goes here. That covers up the screw, which is nice. Or it should. I think I have to screw it in more, and then it will cover it. Yeah. That's what it is. There. And then Sub says, I've been thinking about building my Gunpla in a big cookie sheet so I don't have pieces fall off the floor. Yeah, this one like flew off as I was clipping it because it was towards the end of the stream and I got like cocky about snipping. Yeah, Yeah, I have thought about that. I mean, the nice thing is I underneath my desk here, my table is wood flooring, so all pieces usually show up really well, and I can just reach for them. But this one, I think it like bounced and flew somewhere, um, and so I think I know where it went. But like I said, I have to move stuff to get it. But oh, have I thought about having a tarp or something that I put underneath this table? Yes, I have definitely considered some sort of tarp, so then I could just like move it around. But it'll turn up. I have an idea of where it is, but like I said, I just don't want to get at it would be annoying. And I occasionally have been known to be a lazy boy. Maybe a mosquito net. Yeah, a mosquito net might be good. Uh, I'll just put a bunch of like mouse traps down, right? Just get sticky to that. I mean, that was my biggest fear when I do stuff on the road, which is why I normally do Lego sets when I'm traveling or if I'm doing like stuff. Like now, luckily, now that I can stream whenever I want from my apartment because I'm not dealing with my bad internet. But when I was doing stuff from a rehearsal studio, I was always afraid that I was going to drop something, and then I'm like, well, I need to find this now because if someone else finds it, they're just going to fucking throw it away. I was always really scared of that. And luckily, nothing ever came of it, but it could have. I got very lucky that I never dropped anything like that. I dropped like some Lego stuff the last time I went and did a build, but I was able to find them really quickly. That would have been really fun if I had like the last time I did it when I was in Philly for PAX Unplugged and I did an Airbnb build. It would have been really fun if they'd be like, "Hey, you left some Lego in the bedroom? What happened?" That would have been odd. Alright, this is not going in, right? I don't know why. Maybe this is wrong. Okay. That went in. Oops. The piece that fell on the floor that I had to get up and get just fell off again, so that might be a thing for me to be noticing, is that this one likes to fall off. That's a good thing to know. Alright, so we put that on. Now we've got to put some more shielding on here. We're starting to get more into C, which is cool. It's nice to use sheets that we haven't used in a while, or before. Let's, so C9, I need C12. We'll take a break in a little bit, and I'll kind of do the old pause for the cause, talk about ways you can support the stream, all that, talk about my various things, and then after that, I will start chatting a little bit about some anime that I watched in the past couple days. Like I said, I've got a new show to talk about that I think is pretty fun. Maybe some people will be into. But it's a genre that I thought was not represented this season, and I was surprised. But no, it is. It's there. It was just available on Hulu, so I didn't know that it was out. Because I don't pay attention I mean, look, let's be real. Hulu does nothing to make me want to use their service, including the fact that I pay them money and I still see ads. Don't love that. The ads are very poor quality in like I feel like I'm watching 480p like commercials. It's like, no, stop this. What is wrong? You should be making these look nice. You're trying to, advertise to me. What are you doing? Like that's always surprising. And then also there's a lot of stuttering. Now we've talked about that a bit with One Punch Man season 2. Apparently some of that is One Punch Man season 2 doesn't look as great as the first season. But it's doing itself no favors by being on Hulu. And like I said, I have a good internet connection now. I shouldn't it should not be as bad as it is. Uh, like obviously, I've said this before. I'll say it now because I'm praising them. Uh, I do have a gifted account on Verve. I am a premium member through a gift. I was a premium member on my own for a very long time. I paid for it for over almost 3 years before being gifted an account. So I have been gifted a Verve account, which means I do have Crunchyroll premium, and I do not pay for it. So I do like to mention that because when I talk about them, it's just good for people to know that stuff. But having said that, it's so nice. The Crunchyroll, like their app, I think is solid. I don't use it that often. I usually mostly when I travel. I think is very solid. But just their web interface, like yeah, they'll get like they'll have some issues on a Saturday night sometimes if there's like a hot show. But I have such problems with Hulu. The other day I let it load up. I let it sit for a little while, and then went and did something, and then I came back, and I still couldn't use. I still was having issues with the show. Lashbrook says I don't really have video issues with Hulu. I mean, it's the only streaming service I have a problem with. Maybe it's Chrome, but I don't think so. I have it set with, my anti-tracker stuff to like allow it to do whatever it needs to do and try to make it as seamless as possible. But I do run into issues quite frequently, and it's very frustrating because I want to watch some shows and I'm paying for a Hulu account. So like, let me watch my shows and have them not be bad. I'm giving you money. I don't know. I'm glad you don't run into problems, Lashbrook, because I do. And it is annoying. Right now I'm only watching 2 shows on it, so that does help. It takes away some of the problems if you're only watching not that much on there, but yeah. Also, try Firefox. I have problems with Giant Bomb and Netflix on Chrome. Huh. Well, thank you, dude. I want you to have your rug as well. I want the dude to have his rug. But yes, thank you, dude. I should try Hulu on Firefox, see if it gives me any noticeable difference. One would hope that it's not Chrome, but it could be. Or my interactions with Chrome or whatever. Look at this big old leg. Look at this thing. Monster leg. But yes, but I will give it a try. I think that's like worth it to take a look at, because maybe that is the problem. I would love it if Hulu. Also, I will say this: I don't know when things come out on Hulu. I know what days they come out, but I don't know when they come out. And I really always appreciate about Crunchyroll is that they're like, at this time on this day, the new episode goes live and you can watch it. That's very helpful because you can kind of like figure out like, oh, this show comes out in the afternoon. This is around lunchtime. Oh, this is the show I can't watch until dinner. Oh, this show comes out late. I'll watch it tomorrow. Like that's just, it's a small thing, but it is helpful to have that kind of like a little bit of a nudge so that you like know. Now it's just like, I know that at some point in the afternoon, One Punch Man is on Hulu. Don't know when though. That's not great. I tried looking it up, couldn't figure that out, so I don't know. But maybe I'm not looking hard enough. That also is a possibility. I have been known to sometimes not do the proper work when it comes to those things. All right, so we need J again, and we need I. This is I, so we'll put that aside. And then find J. All right. We'll build a little of this up, and then I will take my break, and then I will talk about some anime stuff. And when I say I'll take my break, for those that are new, my break is me just like, I will stop building for a moment, and I will talk to you about ways that you can support the stream because that is helpful for me. And it's good to know. Like, it's like about an hour into it. It's good to kind of just be like, hey, here's what's up. Here's what I'm doing. Here's how I do it. Here's what you can do if you'd like to support. Um, because the support of folks, both subscribers and viewers, is huge for me. I am very appreciative that on a Saturday evening, right now 16 folks are watching me build a model kit from 1999. Hello, Lord Crashington. Happy to see you here. Welcome, welcome. But yeah, no, it means a lot to me that there are folks that subscribe and that watch live, and that my subscription numbers are as high as they are, considering what I do and my level of the effects that like how many people know who I am and all that. Like it, there's a nice community here, and then yeah, like. Well, we had some issue on Wednesday during the Hearthstone stream of like a shitty person, but for the most part, like I've had almost no problems here. Uh, let's see. Initial P just subscribed using their Twitch Prime coin. Thank you very much for that. Really appreciate that, Initial P. That's very nice of you. Thank you for subscribing. Let's throw the Bear Cave emote in there. Love you, Pat. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Look, at the very least, seeing the numbers go up is always incredible. So thank you for that. It is nice. I get to see that. It's when people are subscribing and my subscription numbers go up. It's rad. It's very cool. We had a big jump up at the beginning of the year because I had found out that I was being laid off, and a bunch of people had supported, and there was a big rush, and that kind of dwindled down, which is fine. So we're back to where I expected us to be at this time of year, and it's still fucking awesome, and I'm very appreciative of it. I want to see look at my stream summary style. Yeah, we've hit all of the stuff that I'm kind of looking for. The hope was a little bit that the charity stream we did would have pumped up a little bit, but Chrome has one weird trick that makes Roblox not work on our public computers. Kids hate it. I'm sure they do, Ultron. But yeah, no, things have been going very well on the channel. Now I'll just take a moment or two before I continue with my build. I will need Jay again to continue to work on we're basically working on our big old foot there. It has feet. First and foremost, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you're interested in doing that, you can use Cash Money, obviously, to become a subscriber. You can also use your Twitch coin. If you have Amazon Prime and you link it with your Twitch account, you get a Twitch Prime coin, which just had 2 folks tonight use their Twitch coin to support the stream, which is very awesome, and I appreciate that very much. And then also, bits and cheers, always appreciated. You can see there's the leaderboard above the chat. I reset that every month, so it's very nice to see, and it's always nice to look at and see the familiar names of folks that are supporting the channel through that. Twitch has recently updated their payment time. It used to be 45 days once you hit the threshold. If you hit the threshold at the end of the month, now it's 15, so that means I'm going to get more regular payouts from Twitch, which is rad. But yeah, that's one way to support the stream and very helpful, and I appreciate it very much. Another way is through my Patreon. Now, none of this is like, you don't have to do any of this if you don't want to. It's all, you can just watch the streams. I can say, hey, become a follower, follow me, and then set your notifications so you know when I go live. But you don't have to. You don't have to do any of that. I have a Patreon. You could join my Patreon. I just put up a monthly Q&A. I do a Q&A every month just for my Patreon. They're the only folks that get to see it. I just put that up there, and there's other tiers, and you get certain rewards, and it's nice. I get a bigger cut on Patreon, so it's kind of cool. But I also, like I said, Love seeing the subscriber numbers go up because it allows me to do certain things on Twitch when the numbers are high. I also have my wish list, which this got added to my wish list because Brown Lantern said, hey, if you put this on your wish list, I'll buy it. So I did. I got a variety of stuff there. I got some Dragon Ball stuff. I've got Papercraft. I've got Gunpla. I've got Lego sets of various different types of stuff. I've got very expensive kits, pretty inexpensive kits. And at the bottom, I've got some like gear that would be nice to have that you don't have to do that. But it is cool if folks want to buy something. You don't want to buy an Xbox One wired controller so that I can do some gaming stuff a little easier. Hey, that would be rad. But don't worry about it if you can't. It's in. I always jump ahead. I have a backlog of stuff to build, but I always jump ahead with that when I can. And then I have a coffee. That's one-time donations. If you just want to do that, you could do that. You don't have to, but I do appreciate it when folks can do that. Anything I make through coffee, through Patreon, through Twitch, through my YouTube channel, and YouTube money. It's going to be a long time before I get another payout for YouTube, but when I do get that, I'm just going to go ahead and buy more model kits and equipment. My webcams and the lights in here, my green screen stuff. I'm looking for a little more of a permanent solution for my green screen. But yeah, all that comes from the money I make on the stream, and then buying kits. I'll say, please check out the Build with Bear community. It is a Discord. I post my progress videos, photos in there. Folks plug their own stuff. This community is wonderful. More than welcome to join that Discord. Check out the different things that are going on there. It's pretty laid back. And you get to see check out how many Legos Durman has right now. Or see what kits Ultron's building. Or, it's fun to kind of check out what's going on in the community here. I will promote one comedy video and one building video. My comedy video that I put up on Wednesday, background and characters. I put up a new episode. I like this one. It's short and fun. And then this week I also put up a thing called A Closer Look, which I think I'm going to do more of. I'm going to try to do it monthly. That's the goal. Is monthly I will take a look at either a project that I've worked on that I've modded since, or maybe I'll grab a bunch of 100 scale things and show you the difference between a high grade and a master grade and a perfect grade. Perfect grade is not in the 100, you know what I mean. Or a full mechanics and kind of show all those off. And I took a closer look at some mods of the Raspberry Pi case that I got and built on stream. It's simple, easy modifications I made to that to make my life a little easier. Because I want to use that case when I'm traveling as a way to use my Raspberry Pi as not just for playing games, but also playing a video for the League of Heels booth. So I needed a way to put my little LED or my little monitor, which has its own stand, on the case. So I built a little add a Lego holder for the stand, which is kind of neat. I haven't really put it through its paces, but I think it's pretty cool. And those are all the plugs that I have to make. I'm going to drink some water. And now is a great time for maybe you to drink some water. Maybe it's time for you to have a little water while I have a little water. It gets a little hot in here under these fairly bright lights. I should show that. So I have two lights, and you can tell, this obviously is pretty noticeable. The one thing it does is it wreaks havoc on the green screen, right? It's very much important for that. But even my build surface, when I turn one of these lights off, it does have a pretty dramatic difference as far as, obviously it's adding a lot of shadows to it, but it's still just brightening the surface. But really it's for the green screen, because folks may remember when I first started using the green screen, it took a long time to get to where we are here. I did a lot of trial and error because I'm not trained to use it and did not know what I was doing. I'm fairly comfortable now, but it took a long time to get to this stage where I'm pretty comfortable that I'm doing it right and it's not We're not getting a lot of that nonsense. I am a little washed out. That could be better. I look a little paler than I am, and occasionally things are adjusted and looks a little weird. But for the most part, I think it's pretty good. I'm gonna cough. Sorry, pardon me. My allergies are kicking in. I went through a little bit of a walk today when I was doing errands. Uh, it feels like I'm not doing not helping myself at all. But I walked to a farther away grocery store because then I was like, oh, this will take longer and I'll be outside more because I didn't have any plans to really do anything outside. And I was like, oh, I'll just take my time getting my groceries. That'll be good for me. It was nice to do, but didn't really help anything. Also, because Pokemon Go, because of Easter, the uh, or an K here, the the eggs are hatching faster in Pokemon Go. So I wanted to walk around a little bit and hatch some eggs. Went through a lot of eggs this week. It's always nice. I am still one of the people playing Pokemon Go. It's me, and it's Humbao, and a few other folks. Waffle Soup is in there. A few people. Few nice folks still doing that thing. Still playing Pokemon Go. All right, I'm gonna keep working on this, and I'll start talking about we're assembling our big feet here, our big foot, I should say. Um, let me bring up my list of anime to talk about. So, um, Joshi Kausei, uh, is the first show I want to talk about. It is that is the 3 minute silent anime. There's no dialogue in it, is what I should say, and it's different from another show I'll talk about where one character doesn't speak, but you can hear the words she's written in her voice, as if she's like you're inside her head. That's different from this show where no character speaks words. There's no dialogue in it. It's a short, quick little show. I did not like this most recent one because it's like not about these schoolgirls and them dealing with stuff. It's like one of them, but it was mostly about like it was one of those things where I'm like, oh, a dude writes this, huh? Okay, because it was like a guy, like a salary man, accidentally. It looks like he's being inappropriate, but it was an accident, and you understand. And it's like, all right, fine, whatever. It wasn't a great part. I think it's a fairly funny show overall, so I'll watch the next episode. But this one was like the nice thing is, like I said, there's no opening theme. With a closing theme, it was still only 3 minutes. So like, oh well, it wasn't that great. Next episode. So that was fun. I have not watched Fruits Basket. I'll watch that and talk about it on Monday. We Never Learn. I'm still into it. It is getting romantic and goofy. It has been this whole time. We Never Learn is about a guy who's like pretty good at everything, but needs like a really good scholarship to move on to university. So he gets roped into working with as a tutor for some of his classmates, and like that shouldn't be a problem because he ends up working with like very smart people who are just bad in a certain field, and unfortunately they want to like focus on that field, and they are very bad at it. So he's got to like tutor brilliant people who are dumb in a subject. And then, of course, we get introduced to a third character who is kind of dumb in everything, but she's a real sweetheart and a great person and a really good athlete. So she joins the group. And now he's got to tutor her, too. And then, of course, like, one of them is definitely interested in him, and the other is annoyed by that, and one of them is, like, tsundere, but, like, not terribly so far, at least, which is great. And it's a fun little show. I like it. We never learn. So far, I'm definitely going to continue to watch it because I think that I enjoy it way more than quintessential quintuplets, which was the last season's like tutor anime. I like this way better than that because that one was had some fun characters, but was so outlandish that it like actually like took away from how fun it could be. Um, kind of spoiled its own funness. So that's two shows. We've got three more. Demon Slayer. So Demon Slayer is interesting. Um, Demon Slayer is pretty violent, pretty gory. It's about a young man whose family gets attacked by demons, and everyone is killed except for his sister, who is starting to become a demon. So he's got to become a demon slayer, and he's got to. Oop, that bounced. Didn't like that. I got it though. Didn't fall off the table, which is good. So he becomes a demon slayer, or he wants to become a demon slayer to kill demons to eventually reverse the curse on his sister and save her, which is awesome of him. Good on him. He's not great at it because why? He's a kid. Why would he be like instantly great at it? So it's kind of refreshing to watch an anime where someone is like not instantly incredible. Like there's a whole thing where it's like, to pass this thing, you must slice a sword through this stone. And it's like a giant boulder. And he's just like, do swords do that? And it's like, yeah, man. Good on you for being like, wait, what the fuck? Why do you want me to do this? What do you mean? I really appreciate it. It's gory, and the sister is weird because she's going through a lot, so I don't want to be like an asshole about it, but like I don't know. She like hides in a hole. She wants to be in a hole. It's weird. There's some weird shit there. I don't know. It's still pretty good. I'm gonna keep watching it. That was the one that I was a little bit on the fence with. Like I said, I didn't watch Fruits Basket. So, whereas Demon Slayer, we got a kid that is not great at what he's doing. The other anime I watched, the one that's on Hulu, has a terrible name. Its translation is Wise Man's Grandchild. So here's the deal. I was actually thinking the other day, I was like, oh, it's weird that there's no isekai show. There's no show that is about a kid from another world who comes to this magical place and because of memories or whatever or knowledge he has an advantage and then just ends up being very good at whatever's going on in this world. Last season we had the double season of that time I got reincarnated as slime. There's been a bunch of those shows, right? It's nothing new. I watch them. I tend to enjoy these style of shows pretty well. So we got one. Wise Man's Grandchild, which is, like I said, a bad name. It is not a good name, but it is somewhat accurate. So, a 30-something office worker dies in our world, or an equivalent world. Dies. At the same time, in a mystical land, a demon murders two parents and their child. Or child miraculously survives. And that child has the soul and most memories of this kid. This guy. So he has memories of his real life and also just like experience and age. So turns out the guy that rescues him is this old man that he calls Grandpa, who's not his grandpa, but is an incredible wizard. Great at being a wizard. Teaches him a lot of magic and how to do like a lot of cool magic and shit. Which is real good. And turns out this kid, because he's got the soul of like an older person, and knowledge of it, turns out to be really fucking good at magic. Like, really solid, like, just can do it. But apparently, at no point did this old man, whose name is Merlin, which is weird, at no point did Merlin, like, take him out of the forest they live in to, like, talk to people or meet people. Like, he knows, like, he's got his grandpa, he's got an older lady that stops by that he calls grandma, that he has a lot of respect for. It's an old friend. There's a guy that, like, is a retiree who's, like, in his 50s, who, like, teaches him to be to use martial arts and to wield the sword. And he's really adept in all of those things. He's somehow just really good at all this shit, and it surprises a lot of people, and it helps that he is, he hasn't told them he's from another world. And he's going to a magic academy. So it is totally where he's going to, like, he's 15. He's going to meet other people his own age. We meet a guy that is clearly an asshole. He's very good at everything. He's good at, like, people thought he was going to be a knight because he's a good fighter, but he's also, everyone in this world channels magic by, like, doing, like, casting spells to, like, do chants and stuff, and he can just do it silently because he just visualizes the spell he wants to do, and it freaks the fuck out of, like, everyone because they're like, that shouldn't be a thing that happens. So it's, it's the magical, overpowered main character. He's overpowered. He's kind of dumb. He doesn't have common sense for the world, but he still has common sense. He just, like, doesn't have, like, holy crap, that foot is huge. Yes, tweet Danica, yes. I mean, when we're done with the leg, I am going to make sure that Danica sees the photo of my big kit. Yes, don't worry. I knew I had to do that. But yeah, so Wise Man's Grandchild, 2 episodes are in. I'm going to keep watching it because I do like isekais. There is something interesting about them. It is a genre that I generally enjoy. There's already a character who's got a crush on the main guy. But I don't know. I do like that kind of thing of, like, he's just trying his best and he knows he's really overpowered. And he's going to, like, a magic school to, like, meet people and hang out. But he also knows that, like, people are going to freak out when they find out how good he is at everything. And, like, it's all merit-based at this school, but everyone's kind of, like, nervous to talk to the prince, the crown prince, but he's not. And the crown prince is psyched about that because he's like, oh, here's a dude that isn't worried about my status. I don't know. There's stuff to like about it. It'll be interesting to see. There's 2 girls. One's got a crush on him. The other one doesn't. But she's a fangirl, and that is important to people. So I make sure to say that when talking about anime, because there are people out there that really need to know when the fangirls are there. And that just means they have a fang, not 2 fangs, because that would mean they're animal girls or something like that. They don't have multiple fangs. They just have a fang. And I know that's very important to some people, so I make sure to say that. Why won't this? But yeah, has a solitary fang. Okay. So I don't know why this is being weird, but it is. Okay, got it. I really hate, like, having to, like, shove things and putting pressure on stuff. That always feels bad. Okay, so that goes like that. That goes like that. This goes in here, over that. All right, now we can just put more armor on this. We're just going to put a ton of armor all over this thing. Okay, and then the last thing that, last show, Senryu Girl. So I talked about this on Thursday. Senryu Girl is fantastic. I love it. It was a show that I came late to. Now I'm on the right thing. I'm now caught up, so I can watch that weekly. 3 episodes in. Um, the show is so sweet and so lovely. It is about the main character is a young lady who does not speak. She does not use her words. She is dealing with a lot and jumbles up. So instead, she writes them in haikus. Basically, does poetry. That is her. That is her method of communicating. And apparently, everyone is cool with that. So she just does that. And of course, she's part of the literary club, the literature club, to work on poems and all that. And it seems that that club has only 3 members: the president, who is an older character who's fun, and then also this rough and tumble dude. He like moved to town. He doesn't really have a lot of people who know him. Everyone's scared of him because he's got like blonde hair and looks tough and has been known to fight. But he's really just a sweet kind of goof. He's also real dumb because he has no idea that our main character is into him and like legit has a crush on him, and he has no idea. Um, and it's a fun show. I'm already very much interested in continuing to watch it. Uh, I'm liking it a lot. Uh, it's it's a really just like sweet show. There's another character uh, that seems like a popular girl. It was my fear that the show was going to be all about this rough dude and not about the. It's called Senryu Girl, and I was like, it better not just be about this one dude. So I'm hoping that they're just introducing the characters, and then they're going to spend more time with her, and not just her relationship with him. But it might be more about the dude, and I don't need that shit because that's just unnecessary. Oops, I grabbed the wrong piece. This piece is for the other leg. That happens on occasion when I'm talking too much about anime. I knew about the twist with King, but I'm curious if the manga had that reveal so quick. Yes, Lashbrook. Um, so you get introduced to King like in season 1 a little bit by like whispers and whatever, but you learn pretty quickly what King's deal is. They don't spend a lot of time building King. They spend some time building him up, but like it's more in the manga, but not much more. Um, I think that like for all his faults, Simon knows exactly what's up really quickly. Because Lashbrook says in the chat, I watched all of One Punch today, and my season 2 take so far is I think the way they do Genesis Metal looks bad. I think in general, season 2 is not great right now. I love King. I've gotten to know him over the course of the show. I have a lot of love for that character, so I'm excited to see him like moving around and communicating and how they're doing like his internal monologues. But overall, I'm not pleased. I think that fight, the Sonic fight with Genios, is not great. Yes, we did lose Monkey Punch, who was Lupin the Third's creator, and yeah, that is a shame. Um, when it comes to manga creators, I will say this: if they lived a very long life, I'm thrilled for them because it seems like manga creators like push if they're successful, if they're popular, just push themselves and push themselves and keep going until they can't anymore, and that seems like a very hard life. And so if they live a long time, hopefully they were living healthy and living right. But it is always a shame. Um, But yeah, I mean, you're going to see more about King as we go on, and I think I'm excited to see more of him in the show because I do think that is King's dynamic, and King and Saitama's dynamic is one of my favorite elements of what this season will be. I really like Metal Bat. I think that that dude is rad. So I'm excited to see more of him. Um, there's a martial arts guy whose name I can't fucking remember that I don't particularly enjoy. I know some people really like him. That shows up. Uh, that is like a good martial artist but doesn't want to be a hero. And Saitama changes him, and I don't really love that dude. But I know that there are manga fans that are real engaged with that guy. I'm not one of them. So that goes like that. But yeah, that's all the anime I watched. Saturday used to be the day where I had to like think up stuff, and like talk about things that I missed. And now I'm not like, what is the name for what metal bat is? I forget, the greaser type. Yeah, there's a good name in Japan for what his deal is. I'm look it up. Because he's got like a pompadour and like uh, yeah, I forget. It's like because he's like, I forget the name of it. Maybe someone in the chat will remember. Like Boncho. Yeah, Boncho sounds about right. He's got a Boncho vibe to him. Yeah. I mean, he's also got like a bit of like a, yeah, like a just a street tough greaser, like, yeah, pompadour kind of thing. All right, we got most of this leg done. We got to do a little bit more here. We got more work to do. But yeah, that metal bat is cool. I like that character a lot. I'm excited to see more of him when he shows up. Uh, yeah. There's some interesting stuff that this season. Um, as we just see more things, and like Blizzard is like fine. She's fine. It's kind of interesting to hear Saitama like talk about what it means for him to be a hero, and that stuff is always interesting. So she allows for those conversations to happen. So that's kind of cool. All right, M10. Big old piece here. Look at this big old piece. We got to put this on, and then we're gonna build our hose for the side here. We'll get this on first, and then put the hose on. There we go. And we'll just, oops, take this off. I really like that the way this is designed. Like, you can like access the back and like really get in there, which is really nice for a kit like this. Since we did all the work to be able to look at what you did, is pretty sweet. And then it snaps back on. I think that's very cool. There's some cool shit about this kit, and I think that is part of what's cool. Like this pops in, this can pop up. Oops. Although not great. And then this can pop down. I just think that's kind of cool. All right, so now we got to do the spring here. So we have a spring. I knew what I needed for the bottom here, so I did remove that. So we'll take the screw off here. So I just kind of lightly screwed it in. We'll put that aside. We'll take this off, and then we need to put some T's, which are, this is just all of our things. We did that for the head here, and then we got to do more. So that'll be the next part of our stream. Yeah, so I'll have, for Monday, I'll talk about the fruits basket that I ended up missing or skipping. We'll talk about One Piece. We'll talk about the Yatagome-chan, which is fun. And then I have watched episodes 2 and 3 of Gundam Build Fighters. And I'll try to watch at least one more show before that, because that'll be good to watch for Monday. Just watch an old show. I like it so far. Bozozoku is the name, it seems, Lashbrook says, of that style of dude. Okay, yeah. In They're like the kings or uh the tunnel snakes. Tunnel snakes? Ugh. The lamest faction in Fallout 3. Um hmm. Uh, Violent speed tribes. Okay, so I need to put a bunch of these on here. The number I need to put on here seems to be weird because it's not really telling me exactly how many I need to put on. I know that I have, that's there. I got 2 of these. And then how many to put on? 9? Hmm. It's not doing a great job of telling me. So it's time for the reference photo. Reference photo. I've got T2 and then a bunch of T4, which look to be identical T2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I put 9 of the T2 and then 1 T4, I think. Okay. Oh, it does say 9. All right, it does say 9. Um, in my instructions, tunnel snakes rule. Yes, Asmo. So here's the instructions I've got here. It shows you into the, like, it's like, oh, hey, this is the thing you build, and here's how you build it. And then it's like, here's the part, and then right over here it just says 9. All right, okay. So it's 9 of 2, and then it ends with a 4. You could do this differently. So now I got to snap all these T2s out here without losing any of them, having them fall. I mean, if they fall, I can find them. They're not hard to find, but it's annoying. But yeah, that's the shows I'm watching. Trying to think of anything else I want to talk about for the next 20-something minutes of the stream. Hi to everybody who's watching. Thanks for joining me as I do this build here. We got this one last piece left with the leg, and then we're going to jump over to, basically, I got to do all this over again. Because that's what this build is. It's almost identical, except that some pieces are facing the other way. But it is generally the same goddamn thing. Right down to it. The legs are basically identical, just, inverted. Alright, so I need 9 of these. I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oops, I did one extra one. But that'll be easy to just put on the other one. Nine. Oop. And then, so it's 10 pieces, one of which is a T4, which is this one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. So then what I have to do is I have to put all these on, which is not a problem. Ends with 1, which is fine. Not a problem. And then I have to put on cap here and then screw it in, which is the annoying part because you have to really put some pressure on your spring, feed them all in, and then put on the final piece. And that is the most annoying part. that I have found so far. So you need a lot of spring to do this. So to like kind of pinch it with one hand, feed a bunch in. And then make sure that I have enough excess for this piece. And then I need to screw this in here. These are not that bad. Like, you may remember I did a kit that had something similar, kind of these hoses that were similar, but they involved these, like, me having to have, like, metal wire, and then, like, I had to wrap it over in these little plastic, like, fabric, almost, and they were really, and then bunch them up that was supposed to mimic hoses, and that was annoying as fuck. This is far less annoying, so I will take it. Alright. Okay. I can trim off some excess here. Alright, and then this is going to go, one goes in here, one goes, oh, put that one there, and then, alright, there it goes. That's a leg. That was the Hama Hama with the wires. Yes, the hand like wire part weren't too bad, but it was the tubing, the hose wire parts that was the Hama Hama. You're right, Ultron. That was annoying. That was the piece that was annoying. But great. Here's a leg. Here's our arm. That's this is a big old friend. This is gonna be a big friend when it's done. But yeah, 1/60 scale is no joke. Alright, so now we're basically going to do what we just did there, but now we're doing the other leg, which is fine and cool. Oof, it is a build. Let's see. I need N again. But yeah, we've done it the first time, so this second time shouldn't be as tough. There'll be some pieces that I know will be annoying, but it should all come together pretty easily. And this is already like less, like we don't have to build wings. We don't have to build feathered wings, so this is already better than the Gundam Wing Zero, which I love. I love that kit. I think that kit is fantastic, and I think it looks so nice, but it was such a pain in the ass to build that this perfect grade in comparison is a breeze. So I'll take it. Alright, so that's supposed to go. Great. Okay. Alright, nice and easy. This is just stuff we did before. We're just going to start working at the top of our leg and just build our way down. Nice and easy. If there's anything you want to chat about for the next 20 minutes or so, feel free to throw a comment in there in the chat. You know, it's fine when chat is quiet. I totally understand, and I'm cool with that. But, you know, sometimes by Saturday, I have sometimes run out of things to say. I'll hopefully have more to talk about on Monday. But, yeah, if there's anything going on with you that you want to talk about, anything in the world that you want to shout out, chat about, I'll say this. I don't care if it's a bad name. I do not care about that the Viking Experience is a bad name. Is it a bad name? Of course it is. They went from the War Raiders to the Viking Experience. Yeah, it's not a great name. But also, the Bludgeon Brothers was a bad name. Harold says still here, just don't have anything to add. Totally cool, Harold. Like I said, that's totally all right. I don't mind that, my friend. Uh, I appreciate you very much, no matter what. Um, but yeah, I don't care. The WWE, it's no rock and sock connection. Yeah, it's. I think the Viking experience is better than the Boss and Hug connection, which is a callback, an unnecessary callback to a callback. Just joining chat. Saw your tweet about Hearthstone Darkest Hour. Same deck as earlier this week. Yes, Aristofan. That is the same deck. That deck has gotten me all the way to now rank 11 in 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 Wild and Hearthstone. It is great. But yes, Lord Crashes did. The WWE is built on bad names. Like the Bludgeon Brothers was a terrible name. It got over. They became champions. We grew to be like, all right, fine. The Bludgeon Brothers. Blah. We weren't psyched about it. They could have had a better name. But the other thing I'll say about the Viking experience is that, like, whatever Gold Dust and Booker T was, yeah, I mean, like, they're not great at naming things. They want to have their own unique names and their own unique things, and sometimes it doesn't work out. The main thing is that, like, they were champions in NXT, so it's weird to change their names. It's one thing you could change the tag names, but changing their in-ring names is also very weird. But here's the deal. WWE loves taking a thing that you love in your real life and making that your gimmick. If you tell them that you're into a thing, somebody in creative, Vince McMahon, or somebody else will go, oh, you really like that thing? Okay, that's your fucking deal now. And sometimes that's because they're like, well, if you care about this thing, you can get it over. And if you can't get over a thing you care about, what are you doing here? Like, Shane Helms. They're like, oh, you like comic books? Well, guess what? You're a superhero now. Go have fun being a superhero. And he was like, fuck, all right, well, I guess I'm a superhero. And the audience were like, yeah. Hell yeah, you are. Waffle Soup with Twitch Prime, that's 6 months in a row. Thank you so much for that subscription. I really love that. Asmo says, I read a report from someone I trust. The name was changed last minute on nothing more than Vince's whim, and I totally buy that. Yes, I do too. I totally buy that Vince was just like, it wasn't that like, oh, we're worried about war, the name war, we're worried about the audience chanting war. Nah, none of that shit. I think Vince was just like, I love that Shane owned the superhero gimmick and how cheesy it would be. Well, Rosie was his sidekick, yes. Like, he ran with it, and Molly Holly got involved at one point. Like, Shane did a great job with that very bad gimmick that was Voices on, because he was like, all right, well, I'll make it work. And that's what they, unfortunately, a lot of times have to do is, oh, you're this thing, so that's to be said. Roe, who is now, oh yeah, we got to throw the Ultron's totally right. Waffle Soup subscribed. We got to throw renewed subscription. We got to throw the Bear Cave emote in there and the Lego emote in there. Thank you very much for that. But no, so Roe, who's now Ivar, I think, of the Viking Experience, formerly of the War Raiders, who were War Machine on the Indies, he is into Vikings. He and his now wife, Sarah Logan, of the Riot, formerly of the Riot Squad, which I assume got broken up because one of the members moved to SmackDown and the other two stayed on Raw. Sarah Logan is also super into Viking shit, to the point where they got married in a Viking ceremony where everyone that went to the wedding wore kit. And it's this whole thing, and it's the thing they love second to wrestling, and the thing that brought them closer as a couple. Started when they were just friends, and then, became a shared passion, and the thing they did when they weren't in the ring, and then when they were both in NXT, and then she came up, and all this other stuff. And the basic point is, those dudes are really into Viking shit. So, guess what? You're the Viking Experience now. Get it over. And they can also change their name at any time. They can change the tag team name. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And, like, people are so freaked out about it. And that's because the thing that does matter, to me, that actually matters about that is the point that NXT is supposed to be the third brand. It's supposed to be like there's Raw and SmackDown and NXT, but there's no continuity. Like they tagged with the heel tag team. Are they heels now? Because they're not heels in NXT. So why? And are they going to address that? Does it matter to them actually? Does it matter to anybody? Those are the things I care more about. Isn't it that also how John Cena became the Doctor of Thugonomics? Someone in the back heard that he could rap. Yes, Waffle Soup. Someone in the back heard wrong, said Asmo. Well, they knew that John was really into hip hop and liked to freestyle and had worked on songs in the past, and apparently that segment where everyone wore costume for this segment in the back was like he pushed for that. Like they were given freedom of like, hey, whatever costume you want. Him doing that is an interesting thing. Kim like being like, oh, I do this, and apparently it was Stephanie McMahon who was like, look, this cookie cutter thing that we're doing with John Cena, where he doesn't really have a character, he just wants to wrestle, isn't working, but this works. So that's why she's in that segment, is because she was the one going to bat for him. And that could have been the end of, like, honestly, that gimmick, that backstage Vanilla Ice freestyle, dressed as Vanilla Ice, him freestyling, would definitely, if that bombed, that's the end of John Cena. He still would have been a quality wrestler, still a good guy in the back, still doing his thing, but would have been a guy that was putting other people over. Even though he had a lot of charisma and people were into him and people like had plans for him. I think that segment, if that segment had faltered, it would have been very hard for him to bounce back from that, which is interesting to think about. Bad Bad Man is a good song with amazing video. I think it's a great music video. I don't disagree. Lord Crushington asks, what's the point of finding a name brand in NXT if they throw it out when they get one of the big shows? I agree with you to a certain extent. I'm going to cough. Pardon me for that. I'm going to drink a little more water as we wrap up. I very much do agree with you, Lord Crashington. It does seem to be counterintuitive to put a bunch of effort into to the work to just change it when you get to the main roster. In some instances, it's adjusting for the reality of a wider crowd. In other instances, it's that some people don't like. Because the other thing they do is sometimes they're very weird about it, where they're like, we don't have to do any work about this character because they worked so hard in NXT and they got over in NXT, so we don't have to do any work. And it's like, I don't understand why. They show up but like not everyone watches NXT. So they don't know. So what are you doing? Like, what's happening right now? I don't know. It is very weird. Some of the decisions that get made. You know, obviously, like I'm no expert when it comes to this stuff. I'm generally speaking from like just like my opinion. But yeah, it can be frustrating when you watch someone like work very hard and you're like, sorry, none of that matters now. You're being repackaged. But yeah, I mean, there might also be some truth to like, hey, the War Raiders could be their name on Monday. They could just be hey, these are the War Raiders from NXT. They're the NXT Tag Team Champions. They're on the brand now. They could just go back on it and never say anything about it and pretend like they never called them the Viking Experience. That's totally possible and not altogether unlikely. That they could just be like, yeah, we tried to change that up. All right, that didn't work. Okay. We're going to lead into the Viking shit still, but we're not going to call them that. We're going to go back to War Raiders because that seems like an okay name that people seem to like. the Viking Experience outcry kind of backfired in getting their name out there to anyone interested in WWE. Yeah, Lord Crescent, I would say that. I would say that more people are talking about the War Raiders being on Raw, whereas they certainly weren't the most interesting things about Raw. I think they overshadowed AJ Styles moving over, which was a big deal. Roman moving out of it, which is a big deal. Um, One of the things that people in the industry, or the fan community are talking the most about is, oh, they brought up our NXT friends and then changed their names, and it's weird, and that's bad. They've got a bad name now. They're not our boys. It's like, okay, but that is, people are talking about it. So, congrats. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not against it. I understand why some people would be bummed by it, but it does not bother me. Uh, there have been worse names. Like I said, I kept saying if they're going to keep Bailey and Sasha as a tag team, they need a tag team name that is a tag team name and not the Boss and Hug connection, which is bad because it's a bad name. But that doesn't matter because they're not a tag team anymore for some reason. But for possible various reasons, but probably a very easy reason. Roman moving to SmackDown made me very sad about Kofi losing the title 3 weeks or less. Nah. Asmo, I feel like they're moving him there not to win the title off Kofi. I don't think they know what to do with the title because Kofi isn't immediately in a feud with anyone right now, which is interesting. But I don't think it's Roman. I could see Roman eventually getting the IC title in some sort of movement of it or a three-way fight and being IC champ for a while. I think that's actually more likely. Since the U.S. title is probably moving to Raw, so that Braun can fight for it against Joe. Yeah. The hemp belt. They just moved the hemp belt. I expect when Daniel Bryan shows up, when he's cleared, he will show up. I think he's going to show up with that belt. All right, so we're going to wrap up the stream. We'll close on wrestling talk. Ultron, I believe that Daniel Bryan will continue to carry around that belt because it's a beautiful belt, and I think it'll just look good. Was it burned? Oh, it was burned on 420. Ha ha ha! Gotcha, Asmo. I was like, wait, did they burn it? Did I miss a segment on the show? No, on the show? No, but that is very funny. I think that he'll carry it around, and that'll be his gimmick. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. This is such a big old leg. Look at this big old honking leg. Thank you for hanging out. I'll be back on Monday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And then also, I want to say it. I forgot to say it tonight earlier, and I'll say it now. Please join me for my special monthly bonus gaming stream on Wednesday at 9 p.m. That's Wednesday, April 24th, 9 p.m. Eastern. I'll be playing Jackbox games with all y'all. Just Jackbox games. We'll do the rap battle. We'll do Sequiplash. I haven't played, maybe TKO. But there'll be like 2 hours of gaming with y'all. So please come check that out on Wednesday. My normal stream is on Monday, Thursday, Saturday, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. This Wednesday, the 24th, the special bonus game stream with all y'all. Thank you very much, Asmo. Thank you, Ultron. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out. The last build stream of the month will be in 2 weeks on Monday. That'll be the last one of the month, and then we'll do the monthly giveaway, which I don't even know what I'm giving away. That's right. I'm giving away the always fantastic, lovely looking Tall Geese 2 Master Grade. I'll be giving that away to a subscriber. But good night, everybody, and I'll see you on the next time on the next Build with Bear Workshop.